A religious political storm is now brewing in the state of Tamil Nadu over the decision of the government to ban centuries-old practice of carrying a mud head in a palanquin in a ritual procession. Now, the Revenue Divisional Officer of Mayiladuthurai has issued the ban order for the event scheduled for 22nd May, terming this a practice of, and I quote it here, violation of human rights. Take a look at this report of how a centuries-old practice is today being seen by the government as violating human rights.
A political firestorm is brewing in Tamil Nadu after the DMK government banned Pattina Pravesam, a centuries-old ritual practiced by the Dharmapuram Mutt. In the ritual, devotees carry the head of the Mutt or Dharmapuram Adhinam in a silver palanquin. This year, the Mayiladuthurai collectorate refused permission after the Dravidar Karagam warned of mass protest against what it called a regressive practice. Dravidar Karagam chief K. Veeramani had described the ritual as violation of human rights. Dharmapuram Adhinam representative have urged the administration to permit the practice. They claim devotees carry the pontiff out of devotion and not out of compulsion. The pontiff of Madurai Adhinam has announced support to the Dharmapuram Mutt in their efforts to get permission for the procession.
இத்தனை நாள் இல்லாமல் இப்போ என்ன மனுஷனுக்கு அவங்க குருன்னு வச்சுருக்கோம் நாங்கள் சீடர்கள் நீங்கள் குருநாதரை நாங்கள் செய்யணும். இப்போ தமிழக முதல்வர் இருக்கார், ஏன் முதல்வர்னு சொல்கிறோம்? ஏன் சொல்கிறோம்? இன்னும் ஒன்றும் சொல்ல முடியும். ஏன் முதல்வர்னு சொல்கிறோம்? அந்த சீட்டுக்கு தான் நமக்கு. அதனால் நீங்கள் மனுஷனுக்கு நம்ம குருநாதரில் எங்களுக்கு நாங்கள் குருநாதர். நீ சைவ இப்போ பிளாடிக்கல் நகர்னு இருக்குது, போப்பு அங்கே பிளாடிக்கல் நகரில் இருக்கார், அவர் அவங்க லண்டன் போய் பார்க்குறாரு.
Gnan Sambanda Desigar has invited CM Stalin to lead the event. A section in the Dharmapuram Mutt suspect permission for Pattina Pravesam was denied as they had invited Governor R.N. Ravi for an event earlier.
Go back, R.N. Ravi! Go back!
Left parties had then tried to stop the governor's convoy as he visited Dharmapuram Mutt. The controversial ban on Pattina Pravesam has triggered a political face-off. The ruling DMK has defended the collector's order, while the opposition is questioning the government.
Just because a practice, a regressive practice, is associated with a religion, can we not question that? If that was the idea, if that was how things were happening, then sati would have still been here, child marriage would have still be here. So these are things which we should see beyond religion. We should only look at humanity.
The respect is being given to a guru. Even you go to a temple, the Utchava Murti is being carried around the temple in the same palanquin. There, if you go by the same logic, the Utchava Murti for somebody could be Guru, the Utchava Murti for somebody could be God. In this case, we are talking about the fact he is a Guru, age-old Adhinam. They are here to promote the dharmic cause. How can they equate this to any other practice of untouchability, any other practice of forced labor, any other practice? How do they equate?
They know how to divert the attention of the people. The custodial murder, 2 murders in less than 10 days' time, has shook TN. And it is now escalating to the next level. When the CCTV footage of police chasing them on the road and beating them, it has come out. So they don't want people to pay attention to it on the breakdown of law and order. So this Adhinam is a diversion tactic from them.
The ruling DMK government is in a fix as the district administration has already banned Pattina Pravesam, calling it regressive, while the opposition party is demanding its continuance, calling it a part of tradition and it should not be meddled with. Sekhar Babu, on the other hand, claims that an amicable solution will be derived, but what will be that amicable solution is the question. Divyesh Zibian, Pramod Madhav, for Industry.
A day after proclaiming to conduct the Pattina Pravesam, Madurai Adhinam pontiff has said there is threat to his life. He's also added that the ruling government is trying to cripple one religion specifically. He's also added that he would meet the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and brief him about this entire situation unfolding in Tamil Nadu.
குத்தகையும் கொடுக்கறதில்ல, நிலத்தில் வரியும் கொடுக்கறதில்ல, வீடுகள்லாம் கட்டி கொண்டு ஒருத்தர் வாடகையும் கொடுக்கறதில்ல. இதை கேட்கும்போது என்னை அடிப்பேன் பிடிப்பேன் கற்பூரி நீ திருப்பணி செஞ்சு விடுவியா? ஆனால் சட்டமன்றத்தில் மாத்திரம் அந்த கோயில் அப்படி கிடக்குது இப்படி கிடக்குதுங்க. இவங்க இப்படி தான் தானே செய்வோம். ஆளுங்கட்சியினர் நிறைய நிலம் வச்சுருக்காங்க, கொடுக்க மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க, மறுக்கிறார்கள். மதசார்பற்ற நாடு என சொல்லிக்கொண்டு ஒரு மதத்துக்கு மாத்திரம் கட்டுப்பாடு நல்லது இல்லை. என் உயிருக்கு ஆபத்துங்கிறது நான் பாரத பிரதமர்கிட்ட போய் சொல்லுவேன், இப்படிலாம் ஆளுங்கட்சியினர் செய்கிறார்கள். பிரதமர் அமித்ஷா கிட்ட போய் சொல்ல.
In Punjab, it is Congress versus the Congress Party. Party General Secretary K.C. Venugopal forwarded a complaint against Navjot Singh Sidhu to the chairperson of the party's disciplinary committee, A.K. Antony, for perusal. Now, Punjab Congress Chief Harish Chaudhary had written to Party Chief Sonia Gandhi, remember, over Sidhu and had said he cannot be allowed to portray himself against and above the party leadership.
The proverbial last straw.
मैं अमरिंदर सिंह राजा वड़िंग वचनबंध हाँ कि पंजाब प्रदेश कांग्रेस कमेटी दे प्रधान वजों मैं भारत दे संविधान प्रति पूरी निष्ठा रखांगा.
Navjot Singh Sidhu's absence from the podium when his successor took oath as the PPCC chief was too conspicuous for the party leadership to ignore.
Ahead of the Punjab Assembly elections, the Congress party not only faced the anti-incumbency but also the internal strife. Then PCC Chief Navjot Singh Sidhu and then Chief Minister Captain Amrinder Singh were not on the same page. What happened between Sidhu and Captain also continued between Sidhu and Charanjit Singh Chani as well. But now Congress seems ready to crack the whip.
The parties in charge for Punjab and Chandigarh, Harish Chaudhary, has shot off a letter to Congress President Sonia Gandhi demanding a show cause be served to the maverick leader. The letter underscored Sidhu's alleged sins of omission and commission that cost Congress dearly in the elections.
ਝੂਠ ਬੋਲ ਕੇ 500 ਵਾਅਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਚੋਂ ਕੁੱਖ ਪੂਰਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣਾ ਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਖੜਾ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਵੀ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਕਰੋ ਉਹ ਕੋਰਟ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਣਾਈ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸੈਕਟਰੀ ਨੇ ਬਣਾਈ ਹੈ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ ਜਨਤਕ ਕੀ ਤੋਂ ਡਰਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਤੇ ਜੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਨਾ ਤਾਕਤ 4 ਦਿਨ ਦੀ ਮੈਂ ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਆ
ਬੱਬਰ ਸ਼ੇਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ
Sidhu's full-blown meltdowns.
ਸਿੱਧੂ ਤੇਰੀ ਸੋਚ ਤੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਬੇਸਬਰੀ ਤੋਂ ਇੰਤਜ਼ਾਰ ਸੀ.
And temper tantrums made national headlines during the election campaign in Punjab.
सवाल इतना ही है कि कौन डिजर्व करता है कौन नहीं.
In countering negative public perception, not only did Congress lose power in Punjab, but Navjot Singh Sidhu himself was defeated at his own constituency in Amritsar East.
According to Congress party sources, the complaint against Navjot Singh Sidhu has reached party's disciplinary committee and an action is imminent. The action can be in way of expulsion, suspension or a mere warning to Navjot Singh Sidhu. But one thing is for sure, that Congress party is sending a message loud and clear that indiscipline in the party won't be tolerated. With Manjeet Sehgal in Chandigarh, this is Supriya Bhardwaj for India Today.
Local body elections in Thane, Latur, Nasik and some other areas as well are coming up in Maharashtra in just next 6 months. It's a crucial time for Maharashtra's politics. But the two parties fighting over the legacy of original Maratha Hriday Samrat Balasaheb Thackere at this point of time. While for Raj Thackere on one side, remember, it's a matter of survival and his politics. For Balasaheb's son Uddhav Thackere, who's also the chief minister of the state, it's clearly a matter of challenge to his own inheritance and the Shiv Sena survival. Here's a report by my colleague Pankaj Upadhyay.
पूर्वी ज्या स्टाईल मध्ये बोलत होतो अशी ही स्टाईल माझी कोणीतरी उचलली म्हणतात मला माहित नाही कोणी.
Shiv Sena released this video of the late party patriarch minutes after Raj Thackere posted Balasaheb raising his voice against loudspeakers used by mosques in Maharashtra.
ज्या दिवशी माझं सरकार या महाराष्ट्रामध्ये येईल त्यावेळेला रस्त्यामधले नमाज आम्ही पडल्यात बंद केल्याशिवाय राहणार नाही. कारण धर्म असा असावा लागतो की तो राष्ट्र विकासाच्या आड येता कामा नये. लोकांना त्याचा उपद्रव होता कामा नये. आमच्या हिंदू धर्माचा कुठे जर कोणाला उपद्रव होत असेल त्यांनी मला येऊन सांगावं, आम्ही त्याचा बंदोबस्त करायला तयार आहोत. लाऊडस्पीकर मशिदीवरचे खाली येतील, बंद.
It was the nephew's attempt to remind and revoke the memory of his mentor. Raj Thackeray wanted to establish once again that he and his party are the true inheritors of Maratha tiger Balasaheb Thackerays legacy. Uddhav Thackeray camp responded with another video where the Shiv Sena founder is heard criticizing his nephew.
पूर्वी ज्या स्टाईलमध्ये बोलत होतो अशी ही स्टाईल माझी कोणीतरी उचलली म्हणतात, मला माहित नाही कोणी. त्यांना माहिती. म्हणजे मी माझ्या स्टाईलमध्ये जर उद्या बोललो तर मी त्यांची कॉपी करतोय असं म्हणताल तुम्ही कदाचित. स्टाईल वगैरे ठीक आहे हो, विचाराला महत्त्व आहे. काय वाचन बिचन आहे का तुमचं? हां, मराठी मराठी मराठी. अरे झाल्यानं तुमचा जन्म झाला नव्हता त्यावेळेला मी मराठी काढलेली आहे महाराष्ट्रामध्ये.
Raj Thackeray has been following his uncle's footsteps since he was in his 20s. Whether as a budding cartoonist or the youth leader of Shiv Sena, it was clearly his aspiration to rise in Balasaheb's eyes as his inheritor. But when time came, Thackeray Sr. chose his son over his nephew. Since then, it has been a struggle for Raj Thackeray to establish himself as the Maratha right-wing leader. He chose the path of hardcore Hindutva politics and agitation, while his cousin Uddhav Thackeray was criticized as being moderate Shiv Sena face. With multiple local body elections due in Maharashtra in the next 6 months, Raj Thackeray has been over-assertive with politics of war for legacy. He chose the topic of loudspeakers used by the mosques, much like his uncle, to bring him and his party back in headlines and put the Uddhav Thackeray-led Agadi government on the back foot. Next, he chose Aurangabad, the city and the same ground chosen by Balasaheb in 1988 to hold his rally and launch an attack on his chief minister cousin. He draped the saffron silk shawl much like Balasaheb with bright red tilak on his forehead. Uddhav Thackeray responded with posters of the original Shiv Sena leaders' Aurangabad rally pictures. Raj Thackeray's mannerisms and speech delivery are clearly influenced by his uncle. But he is far off the mark when it comes to the political pragmatism of the late patriarch.
If Bal Thackeray was the Hindu Hriday Samrat, Raj Thackeray is called Hindu Jan Nayak by his followers. The Shiv Sena calls Raj Thackeray a duplicate, trying to copy Bal Thackeray in order to get political mileage. Raj Thackeray on his part is again experimenting on his shoes. At some levels, after all, it's a do-or-die scenario for him. The elections will be the true test of the Thackeray legacy. With camera person Samir Shanbag, this is Pankaj Upadhyay in Mumbai, reporting for India Today.
In Madhya Pradesh's Seoni, 2 tribal men were beaten to death on suspicion allegedly of cow slaughter. Over 20 people have been taken into arrest, including ones from Bajrang Dal, Ram Sena workers as well. Heminder Sharma brings you this report of this shocking story coming in from Madhya Pradesh.
हाँ बोलने वाले ये हाँ कौन है ये mobbed हाँ किसके लिए काटे threatened murdered
Outrage grips the tribal-dominated district of Sivni in Madhya Pradesh. 2 fellow tribals beaten to death by a mob of cow vigilantes.
अभी तक 12 लोग गिरफ्तार हो गए हैं. बजरंग दल के इसमें 3 लोग हैं और श्री राम सेना के हैं इसमें 6 लोग हैं. 3 अन्य हैं जो किसी दल से संबंध नहीं है उनका.
Up to 20 cow vigilantes pounced on the tribals and allegedly murdered them in the intervening night of Monday and Tuesday over suspicion of carrying cow meat. Phulvati's 50-year-old husband was the sole breadwinner of the family. She says a mob barged in and woke him up in the dead of night and dragged him out. The family wants eye for an eye justice and bulldozers on the homes of the attackers.
उसको फांसी का सजा ही चाहिए सर और उनको घर पे बोझ चलने चाहिए.
Mathobai and her two daughters weren't home when her husband was attacked.
हमको जान का जान चाहिए और उनका मकान में बुलडोजर चलना चाहिए.
The administration has moved in and has announced a financial assistance of Rs 8.25 lakh to each family and a government job to the survivors. But this murderous attack by cow vigilantes has left the state's tribal communities shaken to the core.
Local tribals have held angry sit-ins and road blockades in protest. The Congress has accused the BJP of spreading hatred and violence against scheduled castes and scheduled tribes in the state.
एक तरफ मुख्यमंत्री जी कह रहे हैं कि गुंडों को हम लोग पनाह नहीं देंगे, उनको 10 फीट गड्ढे में गाड़ेंगे और उनके मकानों को, और एक उन्हीं की सेना, बजरंग दल तो उन्हीं के हैं हाथ पैर, राम सेना, बजरंग सेना ये उन्हीं की है. जो माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी कर रहे हैं, गुंडों के घरों को तोड़ रहे हैं, वो आप इनके घरों को तोड़ो और इन लोगों को परिवार को 1-1 करोड़ रुपए दो.
Vigilantism in the name of cow protection, turning lethal and murderous once again.
Mob lynching has happened in Madhya Pradesh for allegedly carrying cow meat. But this is the first time that tribals have been targeted. And tribals have a sizable vote share in the state. And this particular incident could adversely affect the Bharatiya Janata Party in the elections in 2023. With Puneet Kapoor in Sioni, in Bhopal, Hemendra Sharma for India Today.